Chainsaw Man Part 2. It's been a while since it came back. Actually, I think it was around a year ago, like, to this time, I think. Anyway, chapter 135 just released, so I thought I'd do a little check-in on where the story's at, where it's going, what's happening, whatever. I read Chainsaw Man every week, bi-weekly, whenever Fujimoto decides to put a chapter out. And I'm not trying to keep it a secret. I love this story. But I'm seeing a lot of people's opinions on Chainsaw Man have kind of shifted since Part 2 started. Seeing a lot of Chainsaw Man is mid, Chainsaw Man fell off, the usual stuff when it comes to anime and manga that's kind of universally praised and loved. But at the same time, I kind of understand where a lot of people are coming out with this. I'm not someone that read Part 1 as it was serializing. I kind of picked up the story right around where Part 1 just finished, or maybe there might have been a chapter left, something, I don't know. But I understand where these people might be coming from, because Part 2 is quite a bit different than Part 1. Part 1 had this sort of breakneck pace. It was the epitome of all gas, no brakes. I mean, right out of the gates, you had these big fights and big action set pieces and everything else that you would want from your typical battle shonen manga. And this is sort of what Chainsaw Man became known for. And Part 2 releases, and we haven't really had much of that at all. In fact, even our main character might not be our main character anymore, I don't know. So I do understand where the people who might not be too happy with where Chainsaw Man is going, I can see their point. Me personally, I think it's been awesome, truthfully, since it's come back. I've been fully locked in every week, ready to go. So, like I said, Part 1 was all gas, no brakes. It was pure action. There were a couple exceptions here and there, I guess, where we had those quiet moments that sort of let the readers build relationships with the characters, which I think was really important with the way that Part 1 finished up. However, Part 2 starts, and I don't think we even see Denji for the first, 6 or 7 chapters, maybe, around there. It's a while until he pops in, and that's because we're following new semi-main character, Asa. And I think anybody that has a problem with no, they're not going to go there. A lot of people seem to have a problem with Asa as a main character, which I think is strange. I think she's perfect for what you want out of a main character, out of what you want to see a story like Chainsaw Man follow. I do understand, though, that people are here for Denji, people are here for Chainsaw Man, and he's made... I think him in his chainsaw form has maybe made 5 appearances, which through over 30 chapters is a little strange, but just a quick little interjection. I can understand why people might not like Asa too much as the pseudo main character of Chainsaw Man in Part 2. If you're more here for the typical shonen sort of action battle manga, I do understand it. However, I think someone like Asa is probably, at least within the universe of a Chainsaw Man, she's probably the most normal person you can have. She's a little emo sometimes, but with the trauma she's been through, I kind of get it. So if you're here for, I want to see Chainsaw Man fight, I want to see him rip devils to shreds, yeah, I understand why maybe you're a little unsatisfied with Part 2 of Chainsaw Man so far. It does make sense. However, for someone like me who is more into, I guess, character-driven drama rather than, big action sort of stories. I think it's been fantastic, and I think it's been refreshing to see the universe of Chainsaw Man from a perspective that isn't Denji's. I mean, Denji is a very peculiar sort of character, and his perspective is very unique in the sense that he is such a dull man. he's a dull boy. So to see this universe in the perspective of someone who's a bit more normal, a bit more grounded, and just how absurd everything is, I think it really does work well. Anyway, just a quick little aside, back to my rambling. Thanks. Anyway, let me focus up. Chapter 135 came out, and we're sort of at the point in the story where things are going to start happening, and we finally kind of see the reason that there's a fake Chainsaw Man. Now, I don't know, because Fammy mentioned it. The Famine Devil mentioned that the fake Chainsaw Man is being done kind of on purpose to get Denji to stop fighting. I don't know if they mean that that's the fake Chainsaw Man that we've seen that's like actually in chainsaw form, or if that's just like just this kid pretending to be Chainsaw Man that's in the Devil Hunter Club that they go to school with. I don't know if they're the same person, but that's sort of what was just revealed, is that the devils are aware of this fake Chainsaw Man, and there's a reason for it, to get Denji to stop fighting. And they want Denji to stop fighting essentially to separate him and Pochita, which they refer to sort of as the red Chainsaw Man and the black Chainsaw Man are different beings. And they said if you want to, or Famine said that if you want to get to the black Chainsaw Man, you're going to have to separate him from the red Chainsaw Man, which I don't think that's true, considering the ending of part 1. We did see the black Chainsaw Man. He very much appeared while Denji was still, or Pochita was still inside Denji. So now Asa and Yoru, who is the actual War Devil, they've sort of come to this point where they can both have what they want. Asa can save the Chainsaw Man that she knows, who's been saving her. Meanwhile, Yoru can go ahead and kill Pochita, the actual Chainsaw Man that she wants to do away with. So I think, like I said, this is the part of the story where I think the action and especially the narrative are really going to start ramping up. And again, why people have or seem to have such a problem with Chainsaw Man Part 2 is that it is pretty slow. It's been slow moving. There are sprinkles of action here and there. I know we had a big set piece where Denji saved Asa in the school, and when Denji saved Asa again when he rode that sick-ass chainsaw bike. But overall, the story has been quite slow-moving and slow building, which is the complete opposite of what Part 1 was. However, I don't think that it makes it any worse than Part 1 was at all. If anything, pure enjoyment factor, it's right up there with Part 1 for me. I've been really thoroughly enjoying tuning in and reading this every week or 2 weeks. It's been a lot of fun. I think Asa as a main character for a story like Chainsaw Man is absolutely perfect if the story is going to continue to be focused on her, and overall it really has been. Whereas Part 1, Denji was sort of the center of the universe, it feels like Asa's now the center of the universe of Chainsaw Man, and Denji's just kind of there. Everything that's happening is kind of happening to Denji rather than him being involved and changing it in any sort of way, and her indecisiveness and kind of just ass backwardness as a protagonist has been really enjoyable to watch. She's definitely got her imperfections. I'm not going to say that she doesn't, but she's compelling, she's intriguing, and she's a good time following. I think there's going to be a lot more Denji focus coming up. the past few chapters have been Denji focused, actually, as we're sort of seeing him struggle between, saving what essentially has become his little sister and still being Chainsaw Man, still being able to fight. And we know that Chainsaw Man sort of endows Denji with this identity. It sort of gives him access to be, popular. And so I think the possibility of Denji no longer transforming into Chainsaw Man, I think is it's pretty unlikely to happen. I think we're going to see a lot more Red Chainsaw Man in chapters coming up. And even if we don't, which I wouldn't put it past Fujimoto, he's really sort of unhinged and always has been. Even if that does happen, fine. I'm just thoroughly intrigued by where everything is going. So if you feel any differently, let me know why. If you really don't like part 2 of Chainsaw Man, let me know why. I'd love to discuss it. I'd love to hear other people's thoughts and criticisms, but I think this is the part of the story where it's really going to start jumping into gear and really going to start get going. So anyway, that's pretty much it. I just wanted to give a quick update because I've been thoroughly enjoying Chainsaw Man every week or 2 weeks, and been having a lot of fun with it. So if you liked, subscribe. We can talk about this more. Let me know. I like to share my thoughts, and if you want to hear them, that's really great. So subscribe if you feel like it. I'll be here. You know where to find me, and hope to talk to you again soon. Bye now.